What's up, team? Happy Sunday. It is Meal Prep Sunday. I am so happy that you decided to join me tonight and each week, mostly each week, where we discuss how to fit meal prep into our lives without overwhelming ourselves, without making a ton of time and setting aside time for it, without having to sacrifice an entire Sunday or Monday. Or whatever myths you feel you may know and understand about meal prep. So each week we kind of discuss a few meals that we can prep in bulk to make our life easier, and then how we can fill the gaps with grab and go snacks and freezer and pantry staples. Just creating a really great balance of time management. We know that the first and foremost, we want to be incorporating meal prep regularly in our lifestyle for the time saving benefit, not necessarily for any sort of weight loss goal or weight management goal. Although if that is something that you're looking to do, then this can certainly help in that area as well. Even if your goal is healthy weight gain for my pregnant mamas or anybody looking to put on lean muscle mass, whatever the goal is, meal prep can really simplify that process for you and really just be that time management tool that we need in our busy life. You know, we don't have a ton of time to stop throughout the week and prepare healthy meals. We don't want to be spending a ton of money on takeout. Although if that's an option, you should have the freedom to do that without being tied to very strict menus. So instead of creating a menu like Monday is this meal, Tuesday is this meal, Wednesday is this meal, we create a few meals that we can prepare in bulk with the idea of potentially recycling into another macro-friendly meal, or with the intention to fill the gaps however we choose to do. For example, Taco Tuesday can really be recycled with most of those same ingredients into a naked burrito bowl Thursday by just simply grabbing some brown rice or quinoa out of your freezer, or maybe even switching up your protein source. So this is the meal prep structure that I like to really focus on. And from gathering in my conversations with you, I've had a ton of one-on-ones. The main pain point still seems to be lunch. So for meal one, we're gonna focus on our storage and preparation for our lunch this week, which is a Mediterranean salad, which is just so dang easy. I mean, I've shared this type of recipe before. We're just gonna talk about different storage options and different ways that we can switch up this meal to give us some variety. If some of us crave variety, I know I don't love eating the same meal over and over, but we will discuss how we can kind of switch it up, but keeping the same idea of simplicity and not having to grab other random ingredients from the grocery store or run out. Nobody's got time for that. So meal one, we're gonna focus on our Mediterranean salad. So you know me, I don't have consistent storage containers. Maybe one day when like the kids are older and we have more room, I'll have standardized containers. That would be a beautiful thing. But for right now, I just have 5 different glass containers for 5 of my Greek salads. So in the recipe that I had shared, there's a complex carbohydrate. We obviously have our greens, we have our vegetables, and then a protein source. In this particular recipe, it's roasted chickpeas. I'm kind of giving you the freedom to basically incorporate whatever protein source works for you. So I just have my containers here. I'm splitting up my cucumber, roasted red pepper, red onion, and cherry tomatoes pretty evenly throughout. I just prep these and cut everything ahead of time. And so I'm just gonna go in and try to keep it relatively even with our veggies, and it's not gonna make anything like super soggy. And then I'm gonna come in with the quinoa that I had prepped. So there's different types of quinoa. The recipe that we focused on this week had like the little pearl quinoa. So that's a really great option. I like the more of like the fine, it's actually Mediterranean couscous. It's pretty much the same idea, similar idea. And I'm just gonna go in with like a scoop or two. You know what, let me grab a bigger spoon because that is not gonna cut it. And meal prep day usually also means like a lot of cleanup and not a ton of flatware, but I got my big spoon now. All right, so this is a perfect macro meal, and what I mean by that is you may hear me repeat the same things over and over again. That the reason I do this is just because I know that there's a lot of new faces that are constantly rolling in, and even if you're not new, you may just be tuning in for the first time. So what I mean by a perfect macro meal is we have about a quarter of our plate our protein source, another quarter a complex carbohydrate, and about half of our plate vegetables, and then a little bit of healthy fat. So we've got a little bit of healthy fat in the dressing that I prepped ahead of time. It's about a half a cup of olive oil. I cut the red wine vinegar into, I think I only did a few tablespoons of that in here, and I prefer white vinegar over red vinegar, so you can play around with that and do whatever you prefer in terms of your light salad dressing. There's a little bit of Dijon mustard in here, which gives a really great flavor, and just a little bit of salt and pepper and some herbs and garlic. So that's what we've got in terms of our healthy fat. And then if you choose to, you can add a little bit of feta. Some people are just not feta people. You could choose to add some olives instead. I'm not even doing a quarter cup. It's probably about an eighth of a cup, just to give it that little salty, little salty, cheesy, like little craving that we sometimes have when we crave like a Mediterranean. I'm a person that craves Mediterranean food often, and it's usually like if you have a salt craving, don't ignore that. So find some creative ways that you can incorporate a healthy salty craving. So hard-boiled eggs with some pink salt and pepper is a great way. We'll talk about our meal two, which is the pulled pork sliders. Some sweet potato slices with salt and pepper. That does a really great job dipped in hummus, or you know, however you like to eat your sweet potatoes as a veggie snack. We like to roast broccoli pretty much every week. So I roast our broccoli with the asparagus in our one pan meal, which I'll talk about. And that's pretty much it. I'm good to go for the week here for lunches. Now, if you choose to switch up your protein sources, I recommend some hard-boiled eggs. So I've got my bag in there from Trader Joe's that I get each week. I could throw those in there. I always round up if I'm doing any sort of chicken recipe. So for example, the one pan chicken recipe, I believe called for 2 or 2.5 pounds of chicken. I rounded up in the event that I could just like recycle the chicken that I already roasted, throw some in my salads. I'm not gonna do so now just because, you know, I may choose to throw the protein back in the oven, heat it up, or you know, whatever the case might be. So we don't want to have too much like sogginess when we're thinking of storage. Another great storage option for salads, any kind of salad. A lot of people love to use mason jars. So if you're somebody still struggling to maybe just whip up a healthy salad dressing or keep your salad dressing stored and prepped ahead of time, you can just go ahead and prep your salad dressing in your mason jar, go ahead and give it a shake, and then add each layer of your salad to the mason jar, and then just give it a shake right before you're about to serve it, or you could just dump it into your bowl. For a salad like this, I would recommend going dressing, quinoa or couscous, and then veggies, and then your leafy greens, and then your cheese on top, so that the cheese doesn't blend in and get soggy with the salad dressing. But those types of storage, mason jar storage can just kind of make the same recipe you've made over and over a little bit more interesting, and it just could make it a little bit more fun for you to meal prep, and it saves some space in the refrigerator as well. So if you have a ton of mason jars, you may consider doing that. I do not have a ton of mason jars personally on hand, but I do have these, and I can stack very easily. So I'm just gonna put this off to the side, and then we can talk about meal two. So meal two can kind of double as like a fun game day, healthy appetizer kind of thing. Or if you want to add some veggies or a side salad, then you can create a balanced meal out of this. It has all of the elements, and you can fill in the gaps how you choose. So this was our pulled pork sliders with slaw. You can top with avocado, you can top with a different kind of slaw. We used a Whole30 barbecue sauce, Whole30 compliant barbecue sauce. So if you paid attention to that section, super easy to whip up. It's virtually no sugar. It's a really great barbecue sauce, but you could really use any barbecue sauce of your choosing. If you're not paying attention to Whole30 compliance, or if you're not gluten-free or anything like that, that's totally fine. You can use whatever barbecue dressing of choice. You could even find a prepared pulled pork. I know at Trader Joe's they have those. So if that's a meal that you'd rather just microwave in 30 seconds and whip up right before, then I encourage that. So this is something that's very versatile. For us, we're gonna be using our sweet potatoes as bread and just kind of enjoying them that way as an appetizer. But like I said, you can spin it into a meal just by filling the gaps and adding the things that are lacking in the meal. So greens, any sort of roasted veggies, anything you want. And if you want the kids to be enticed by this, then I recommend picking up some Hawaiian rolls, or just some like tiny little rolls, and letting the kids kind of do it themselves. I've shared this before, but like a great way to keep the kids enticed in the weekly meal planning is to take them with you to the grocery store, have them pick out certain things that really helps make them a part of the process, and then also laying out a spread like this and sort of giving your children each element without, putting on the pressure of putting every individual item on their plate and then putting the plate in front of them. This sort of gives your child the freedom to explore everything that you've prepared. So for example, on Sundays when I've meal prepped, I can lay everything out there and just sort of let my daughter taste a piece of broccoli or taste a piece of asparagus, because when you lay it in front of them, they become more curious, and it kind of takes the drama out of dinner time. If you have little ones at home, you already know sometimes when you put that plate in front of them, you get the resistance right away. You get that little pushback. But Sunday is a great opportunity to, when you've prepped everything, just kind of lay it all out there. Either a snack board, which I've shared before, or tons of little appetizers, such as pulled pork sliders. And you can even switch up your protein source for those. You can make it like sloppy joes. You could do little tiny meatballs if you've prepped meatballs before, and you can defrost those quickly. There's tons of different ways that you can make a fun game day appetizer, a very, like, I would call it drama-free dinner opportunity. So Sundays is our day to just kind of chill, relax, prep for the week. And sometimes we have a structured meal. Sometimes it's literally like this. And you know, both of those days are absolutely fine. So that is meal number 2, our pulled pork sliders. Meal number 3, 1 pan and 1 pot meals are the bomb. So you'll see me recycle different versions of the same type of 1 pan situation. So we've done chicken thighs with balsamic glaze. We've done chicken breasts with honey Dijon mustard. We've done lemon garlic chicken. So you can really play around with your protein sources and your veggies that you literally just use 1 pan to prep it all. So I threw some broccoli on my pan. We like to just roast broccoli, have it for a snack or to recycle into other meals, and then our asparagus. So I've marinated our chicken breasts ahead of time, threw it all in the pan at 400. This was the easiest part of my prep. So while I threw that in the oven, that gave me the opportunity to just cut up my veggies and prep everything else. And this really, guys, this took me, I think, an hour and a half. So this did not take up my entire Sunday. I didn't have to sacrifice anything. I didn't have to change plans. And I have the bulk of our prep done. And I've shared this before, I don't focus too much on breakfast typically. Here and there, it's nice to have like a breakfast for dinner option or an egg bake or something fun. But during the week, my main recommendation just to get breakfast in you is to blend up a smoothie. It's a great way to get your protein in you. Women, we typically struggle to hit our 20% protein goal. So that is a really awesome way you could add your protein of choice to your shake. All of your other elements, veggies. I'm a veggie person personally for smoothies. You could do your fruits, you could add your nut butters. You have the freedom to play around, and it's blended and done in 30 seconds. Virtually no excuse to not have a smoothie in you first thing in the morning. Another option, grab some hard-boiled eggs, grab a Perfect Bar. I've shared those before. Those are like my go-to emergency if it's between nothing or a Perfect Bar. Definitely grab a Perfect Bar. It's just shy of our meal target calorie goal, which is 350 calories. So my shake that I use in the morning is only between 230 and 240 calories. That means I have to add a half a banana or 1 to 2 tablespoons of nut butter in order to bulk it up to get me to that calorie goal. I actually usually hit closer to the 500 calorie range on my meals because of everything I burn. So just a reminder, if you are one of my people, and I had a ton of one-on-ones the last couple weeks, and if you are basically pacing to reach a specific calorie goal, if your goal is weight loss or maintenance, you still definitely want to track. So meal prep will definitely be the catalyst to get you to that goal, whatever the goal is. That's going to be your time saver. That's going to be the catalyst to get you to that goal, but you still want to be tracking. So MyFitnessPal is amazing. It's my #1 nutrition tracker that I recommend because it's free. It's easy. It has a scanning feature. It will save foods that are your favorites that you eat over and over again. So if you're focusing on a calorie goal, I'm just going to repeat that. I still want you tracking. So I want you getting into the daily routine of tracking your goals, even if it's just in the short term. And we've had these specific conversations. So depending on your goal, we've created the roadmap. And if your roadmap includes tracking your intake, still do it every single day. Your past self, yes, no, your future self will thank you for tracking, and your future self will also thank you for the meal prep that you've done tonight or whatever night that you choose to get the bulk of your prep done. So I hope that this session was helpful for you. We will continue to talk about fun, different recipes that we can put a spin on, creating a healthier version of foods that we already love and that we can fit into our regular balanced lifestyle, because that is the beauty of balance, 80-20, right? So if 80% of the time you're prepping and hitting your macro meals, you will be energized, you will be hitting your personal goals, your professional goals, you will be not having to stop as much throughout the week, so you'll be less frustrated, you'll be more energized. I will definitely keep you posted in terms of reminders with what we have coming up in our wellness schedule this week. So we have a ton of opportunities for exercise, high impact, low impact. We have 2 different meditations on tap, so definitely plug into that schedule, tune into reminders. If you're not on our team group chat or our team Facebook page, if you're one of our newer people, definitely reach out so that we can get you into both of those places so that you know what's happening and you have a ton of time to prepare. So I hope you found this session valuable, and I will talk to all of you tomorrow.